Alright guys, it's Savage 3D Printing, and today we are talking about the Sprite extruders. So, this is my Sprite extruder off of my Ender 3 V2. So, there'll be a removal and an installation video after I'm done talking, so if you have no curiosity about that, you can go ahead and skip. But today we're going to be talking about the parts that are replaceable on the Sprite extruder. So the Sprite extruder is a dual gear extruder. It's metal inside here. Here's your tension screw. And it's an extruder, direct drive, and hot end all in one. Now this is not to be confused with the other Sprite extruder, which is literally just a direct drive extruder, but this is the Sprite Pro hot end. So the reason we have this here today is because two reasons actually. So I have a bad habit of stripping out the threads on the aluminum heat blocks. This is just my bad habit. I've been through like 30 of these. So I decided to make a video on it this time. So we'll talk about the heat break first. So normally when you get the Sprite Pro, you have the regular titanium, might be titanium, might be aluminum, I'm not sure, heat break. This is the bimetal heat break. So you can tell it's bimetal because this is not silver. So you can buy these upgrade kits. They allow you to go up to 300C, print polycarbonate, all sorts of other things. So when you look at this, you have the bimetal heat break, which helps with not getting clogs in the throat tube, which is what this is. And then you have, here is your thermistor, and here's your heater. So I will show you a brand new one now, so you can understand a little bit better. Now these come with hardened nozzles already installed, but here is your thermistor, and here is your heater, and then your 0.4 hardened nozzle. And then the other part is the circuit boards. The circuit boards are replaceable. Now this heat break comes with an extra heater, or actually two thermistors, and the heater is already installed. I like to buy these straight from Creality because they're a drop-in kit. So commonly when you get the heater out of error, or your hot end will not heat up and it's showing 0, that's when you need a thermistor replacement. So going back to the circuit board, you can replace the circuit board for about 15 bucks, and it just unbolts from the back and you put the new one on. And these can be acquired for like 20-30 bucks. So the whole hot end kit costs like $109, but why replace with the whole hot end kit when you can spend 40 or 50 and repair it? So the reason why I am replacing the circuit board is I put in fan shrouds, and this is the Taurus hot end. This is printed out of carbon fiber ABS. Typically I use PLA. I have not had an issue with PLA, especially using Galaxy glitter or any type of granular type of things. But as you can see, this was printed with no fan shroud on my Ender 3 S1, and this looks immaculate. Now I hot glue my fans in. Never had an issue even inside of a closure. I use a little higher temp hot glue than what I guess people would use. I wire these in series. These are 12 volt fans. They do work. But the problem is sometimes they rattle and they burn out quickly because it is a 24 volt system. But tying them in series, they spin a little bit better. Now, the next time I rebuild this, I will be using 24 volt fans. I do not intend to continue using 12 volts. I do not like how long they last. This is a brand new setup, but the last set lasted, I think, 1,000 hours, something like that. It works pretty well. So I had a short in one of these motors. Now, I had soldered onto the motor, and a bit of it had crossed over into the positive side on the ground side. So I created a short. So you can see the fan connector, I believe it's fan 1. You can see it comes up to here, and I'll put it up to the thing. So you can see that little mark right there, right, where it's metallic. So if you flip it over to the back side, you can see I physically burnt this circuit out. This is another thing I commonly do. It's just being too quick on, working on it and not paying attention. Also, something you have to watch out for is I bought a set of these GXP connectors, and they are wired backwards. And I don't feel like repinning them, so I just marked on the box that they were wired backwards, and I wire them in backwards. That was the first circuit board that I burnt up. So we have a new circuit board right here. And as you can see, it comes sealed, brand new circuit board. So we'll be installing this and the heat break. And so that you know how to repair the Sprite extruder. The Sprite Pro extruder. So there is a little tube inside here. It's a little PTFE tube. Sure, you can see it in there. I commonly inspect them every now and then. Sometimes you just need a good thing. These tubes will go bad eventually and will have to be replaced. Do not replace it with Capricorn tubing. The Capricorn tubing is not the same size, and it is a restrictive fit, Alright, so after you've replaced you won't replace this unless it absolutely needs it. Normally it shouldn't see heat up there. However, you do have the new heat break. So the first thing you do to replace the heat break is we're going to do the circuit board actually first. So way we do the circuit board, that way we can see where our connectors need to be. So we'll take the circuit board out of the connector bag here, and we'll work it out. And I'm just going to lightly screw it onto the board. So you have the 2 screws here, and then you have your base plate that goes here. And we're just going to work these in here, get it screwed into the thing. That's not it. That way we can screw them in. Screw it down here. Don't want it too tight, you don't want to crack the panel. Now there's a screw here, and there is a screw here. So I bought this one used, so I'm missing the screw here. I'll eventually get one. But this is for when you mount it onto the printer, that you will screw this screw in. So now that the circuit board is in place, we will take the new thermistor Hotend. And the thing that I like to do is I like to plug in the connectors prior to trying to put the Hotend in. It makes it a lot easier. You're not fighting with it. The heater wire is just especially hard to get in, and this is one of the reasons why we do this. So as you can see, it's hard to get the wires in, and that's when you be really easy with the thermistor. It breaks a lot, even on replacement thermistors. They will break off at the connector and give you a whole lot of world of pain. So make sure my pins are straight. And we're going to push into the socket and get it pushed in there. Clicks. So then we put it in here and we push all the way up. Now there's a set screw right here, and we're going to tighten the set screw down just so it doesn't pop out on us. Now, they give you a bag of screws, so it replaces the hot end screws. And we'll go ahead and replace those now. Now we are going to start these screws, and then we're going to loosen up this heat brake. You're going to see why in a second. So we'll get these screws started. Get them some of the way in there. You want to try to tighten them down evenly, because you want this heat brake pressed up as much as you can. So now we're going to loosen the set screw. Just a quarter of a turn so that you can see I can move the heat brake now. And then we are going to tighten, make sure they're flush, and we're going to tighten, and then we're going to tighten, and we're going to work our way back and forth. And we're going to tighten the screws. You want them snug, but you don't want them extremely tight. And say that's about good. And then you tighten on your set screw, tighten it down tight. And that is how you repair a Sprite end. It does not take much work. It doesn't take a lot of things. Now that you have the board on, you can go ahead and plug in your CR Touch. This is your extruder drive, and this is your fan into fan 1 that you'll feed through here. Just should have been the first one I plugged in, but we all make mistakes. And we plug in here, and then your fan trowel will mount I got it on the right side. Your fan trowel will mount just like this, and then you will take your connector here and you will plug into the fan 2 port. Now make sure you replace your covering. So now it's all covered, and then we will install onto the printer. So now we will be installing the Sprite hot end onto the printer, and as you can see, we have the Sprite here. It will lock into right here, and then we will put the one right here. Actually, we'll do here, and there's supposed to be again 4 screws, but I ended up getting this used, so I don't have the 4 screws. And this is just for my mounting purposes. I'll change this around afterwards, but you will go ahead and tighten that up. It'll be slightly bigger. Give me one. But you will tighten this up, and then you will plug in your cable, which is right here. Then you will power on the printer and run your tests through Clipper or stock firmware. So you unbolt the clips, you push the thing completely down, and you make sure it's locked. And there you go. That's how you replace your Sprite extruder.